Someone will deadass look at you in the eye and say this was better. This shit is CTI? I can't even judge, I can't even hate on y'all. I'm a retro game collector. Majority of my favorite games are as old as I am. But when it comes to some of these games, I think a lot of y'all are blinded by nostalgia. I think a lot of you guys also forget what made these games so great in the first place. A huge factor to why these games were so amazing and so funny you could play for 24 hours was the fact that you were a kid, bro. As a kid, you had endless amount of time, no responsibility, and tons of friends. Of course, COD is not gonna feel the same when you're 37. There's a group of kids right now that in 8 years time is going to be nostalgic about Black Ops 7 and say that Call of Duty was in its prime today. When it released, Black Ops 3 was seen as one of the worst CODs ever, at least by many fans. And nowadays, people talk about Black Ops 3 like it saved their newborn child from a car crash. I love old single player games like anybody else. Dead Rising, Portal, my love, Bioshock. But we have to admit, a lot of these games were like stiff as hell. Also, they would crash a lot more often. And I understand missing some aspects about old games as well. My parents never took me, but midnight releases seemed fun as hell, bro. Oh my gosh. But when digital became more common and more convenient, how many of y'all actually stayed around for physical releases, for midnight releases? I was a family video warrior. I bought all my games there. I love going there. But like, I rarely saw people. Like, it was like 2 or 3 people on average. Either family video wasn't that popular or y'all niggas were lying. And finding somebody that just wants to play old games and not to collect in a local game store is so low that you have a better chance of being a billionaire. A lot of people try to say that games were better back in the day because of its pricing. Now imagine this in today's money, y'all. A lot of these games that y'all pay $60 and $70 for weren't even good back in the day, let alone in today's standard. Now I will admit, prices nowadays are fucking ass. They're fucking cheeks. They're bullshitting right now. But back in the day wasn't that much better, to be honest. And I understand that gaming was kind of a new concept back in the day, but a lot of them niggas was playing in your faces with these consoles, bro. There's a reason why only 3 consoles and PC exist, bro. And this is one of them. Even in the 2000s, my favorite gaming era, the consoles weren't like the best either. The OG Xbox, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3 all had a time limit. Although in the newer models, them just breaking were less likely. Although I prefer older games and older consoles, I still believe gaming nowadays is much better than it was back in the day. And I believe that because like, I could still play old games. Nowadays, I could still go back to my Xbox, OG Xbox, my PS3, and still play those old games while playing the new ones. Depending on what old games you're trying to get, old gaming is the best that it's ever been, at least price-wise. Old games are like dirt cheap nowadays. They're like $4 to $7 for a good one. And even if you don't want to pay that much, you could emulate it. Emulating games is so easy. This is why when people say that old games were better and talk about how old gaming era was so much better than new gaming era, I kind of just don't care. It goes on to one ear and comes out the other. What's the point about praising how old games were so much better than new games and just not playing them? I don't get it. You haven't completed every single old game, bro. I know you haven't. And the funniest thing is that people who say this will still buy the new console. They will still be first in line to buy a PS6, the new Xbox, the new Switch. And I don't want to say it, but I feel like y'all niggas are LARPing old games. I feel like y'all niggas don't love old games like y'all say y'all do. And you know what old game lovers do? They play old games. While y'all niggas are reminiscing about split screen, there's a nigga playing split screen with his best friend right fucking now, and they're having a blast. At the end of the day, man, if you love old games, play old games. They're not going anywhere. If you want to experience the same thing you did as a child, too bad, so sad. You're never going to experience that. Either make new memories or like, shut up, bro, because we don't care.